guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rise. We're back here at Dimmitt Chevrolet in super sunny Clearwater, Florida, because guess what? We have something new for 2022. This is it. This is a new color on this 2022 Chevrolet Camaro SS called Vivid Orange. But before we get into this sun-kissed muscle car, let's talk about what's going on here. The Chevrolet Camaro. It's been doing the business since 1967. Now, yes, if you are a historian, if you are an official year number counter, it hasn't been continuous from 67 to 2022. There has been a gap, and that was from 2003 to 2009. The last year of those F-body Camaros was 2002, and then when they brought in the fifth generation of the Camaro with that Transformers movie, that was in 2010, if you could believe that. Fast forward with 2022, the days are numbered for the Camaro. Lots of big question marks. Are they gonna make an EV version? Is it gonna be a four-door sedan? That has not been determined yet, but what is determined and what has been official since the beginning is that competition with the other muscle cars, specifically the Ford Mustang GT and of course that Dodge Challenger. So what I want to find out is, if you go over down to your local Ford dealership and you want to get a Mustang GT, there are some changes with that car as well. You're actually losing some horsepower for 2022. So what I want to find out is, should you just stick with the tried and true of this Chevrolet Camaro SS, go get the Mustang GT that you always wanted, or head over to Mopar or No Car and get a Dodge Challenger? Let's dive into our bright, vivid orange Camaro SS and find out. Right off the bat, the color, absolutely stunning. I didn't think I was gonna like it. In regular pictures, it kind of looks a little bland, but as you can see, that beautiful metal flake really gives it a nice shine. Now with the sixth generation, this is the sixth generation of the Camaro, you could see the continuation in that design of headlights. Now, I'll be honest, I like the fifth gen headlight housing a little bit better in the way that they did the daytime running lamps, but still looking great. You're gonna get that projector beam LED headlight, LED daytime running lamps. You work your way down, we have more exterior lighting, and then we got fully functional side air curtains. Looking great. You got some satin black finish on the lower grille area, and then this particular one has been added with the extra aero package. Now when you look at this aero package, very functional, very aggressive, plus it's carbon flash metallic. I love the way GM, specifically Chevrolet, has this carbon flash metallic in their color arsenal, and you'll notice that with the front splitter here, how it folds up, that's gonna help channel the air. So this looks good, but it also is for extra go, because this is gonna give you downforce and stop air from going underneath your Camaro SS. Now, as we transition across the front, still looking sharp. 2019 was a rough year because they did that restyle. They took the bow tie. They did make it a flow tie for the SS, but they put it in the center of the bumper. To me, it never looked right. Who knows, maybe down the road, I'll be eating my own words, and that'll be one of the most valuable of collector Camaros since it was only produced for 1 year. But as you can see on this 2022, we got the blacked out bow tie up top. It's not a flow tie, it is solid black in the center there, but you are gonna have functionality on this top portion. We got the SS badging. Such a classic signature from Chevrolet. And if you're wondering what does SS stand for, you might think it means super smart, and maybe going with this Camaro, you're gonna be super smart. It actually stands for super sport. Just a little history lesson there, been around since 67. Working your way down, massive grille opening on the lower portion, fully functional, and I like the way that they went with this satin black rather than the flat black. Gives it nice element of depth and design, and you'll notice how the splitter, very aggressive on the corners, but then it kind of tapers in so that you're not ripping it off when you park into a parking spot and not paying attention. Now, when you get up onto the hood, what do we got? We got a bulge, of course, and we have a heat extractor. Now, I am still gonna zonk the heat extractor. I like the width. I just wish it was a little bit longer and deeper into the hood, but this is a functional piece. And if you compare it to the Challenger or the Mustang GT, they have their own versions of heat extractors. Like I said, if it was just about maybe another 3 to 4 inches towards the windshield, I think that would kind of balance out the width of it. It just seems a little like it's pinched down, but of course you're getting that nice bulge. And with this vivid orange, I'm telling you, get me a orange crushed soda because it's making me very thirsty. That's how good it looks. Now, when we come around the bend, I'm happy to report we don't have black wheels. Thank you. Thank you, whoever optioned this one, for getting these beautiful silver Y-spoke wheels. So you got that split spoke design, looking great, nice metallic silver, nice machined aluminum. And then look, it's time to get the Halloween jack-o'-lantern out because we have those pumpkin orange Brembo calipers. That comes when you go with the SS package. Obviously, when you go 1LE, you'll get even bigger calipers, but those are looking really good. They'll keep the headless horseman away. You are gonna also get larger rotors, fully ventilated, special suspension that is tuned for the SS, and even the engine cooling. You're getting a larger radiator, you're getting some extra cooling bits to keep all the temperatures in check. But I'm telling you, with black wheels, I don't know if vivid orange would look as good. Let me know what you think. Are you happy with these silver wheels? It's nice to see some silver wheels around. Seems everybody's switching to black wheels, but this is looking really good. Now, as we go down the side, of course, you gotta have the good old red, white, and blue. That Chevrolet Camaro, a little piece of American muscle car tradition, muscle car heritage. It's a damn shame that these cars are gonna be disappearing, but this is your chance. It's here. You could drive home and have that V8 glory. Like the way they did the mirror caps, all matching in that beautiful vivid orange. Now, one of the big, obviously, debates is the height of the side glass. Very, very concept car-esque. Looks good when you're sitting still. Yes, there's gonna be some blind spots. All vehicles have blind spots, unless you're in a convertible, or unless you're just walking on the side of the road. That's the time you're not gonna have a blind spot. But they do a great job, especially if you get the digital rearview mirror. If you get the digital rearview mirror, that really helps with the blind spots. But if you notice, we got more aero from that package with the carbon flash metallic. Look at the way it tucks up on the side, channeling that air past the rear wheels and tires. And since we're talking about the rear end here, let's talk about what we got going on. Of course, you're gonna have 20-inch tires all the way around. On the backs, you got 275 on the width, a nice 35 series sidewall to keep things in check, and you got a limited slip differential, part of that SS package. And then as we swing it out wide, what are we looking at? Pedestal style spoiler. Not my favorite, but it gets the job done. You're gonna have that refresh on the taillights. I like the way they smoke them out. Nice smoke lenses. At first, I didn't like this change. It's actually grown on me, especially since I bought a ZL1 1LE. We got our SS badge. I always thought that with the ZL1 and the SS, the badge should be up here on the trunk, not on the lower bumper, but look at this lower bumper area. With the aero, you're gonna have a nice rear diffuser, really brings it to life, and you're gonna get that GM Performance active exhaust. What do you get to do with that? You can make it nice and loud, or you can keep the peace and have it quiet. Yes, the Mustang has a similar system. The Dodge Challenger also as well. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see that Chevy V8 power. All right, guys, we got the hood pop. You do have your hydraulic hood struts. On a Mustang GT, you don't get hood struts, you get a prop rod. So this is where I like to have those hydraulic hood struts. And yes, they do wear out over time, but what do? You replace it. Just like you replace your tires, those wear out over time as well. You'll notice that functional heat extractor underneath the hood that's gonna do the business of dragging the hot air out. They even did the Chevrolet Camaro badging in the underside of the hood. It's just the little touches that I love. Now, underneath the hood, not the sexiest of engine covers. I'm not really digging, even though it's gray, it says Camaro, I wish they would let us see that intake plenum. That's where the sexiness is underneath there. But what do we got? What do we got power-wise? 6.2 liters of naturally aspirated V8 goodness. That's gonna be 455 horsepower, 455 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you compare that to the Mustang GT loses 10 horsepower for 2022. You used to say, hey, I got 10 more horsepower in my Mustang compared to your Camaro, but not anymore. It's 450 horsepower. If you go scat pack with your Challenger, that is gonna have 485 horsepower compared to the 455, but remember, the Challenger does way more. Now, mated to this 6.2 liter, putting out the 455 horsepower, is either a 10-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual. If you go 10-speed automatic, you're looking at a 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. Quarter mile blazes by at 12.1 seconds at 118 miles an hour. Compared to the Challenger, this is a featherweight. It weighs 3,788 pounds. It's about the same weight as a Mustang GT. MPGs, 16 in the city, 27 on the highway. And if you're wondering, well, what were the size of those rotors, Joe? There were 13.6-inch fully ventilated rotors up front. Remember, this is good old-fashioned pushrod technology, still getting the job done. But why don't we go ahead? It's one thing to talk about it and look about the heart of this Camaro. Let's fire it up and hear its roar. All right, guys, we're inside this Vivid Orange. Remember, there's two new colors for 2022. Vivid Orange, and what's the other one? Yes, you in the back, eating that Hot Pocket. Yes, Rapid Blue. Those are the two new colors for 2022. I know you're saying, well, Joe, if we're comparing this Camaro SS to the Mustang GT and the Dodge Challenger, of course, a lot of it comes down to price. How much is this one? So this Camaro SS, with the ground effects aero package, with the color, the special color on the brakes, the whole kit and caboodle, you're looking at an MSRP of right at $49,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I'm very happy to report we have a special option called ceramic white. So up top, you're gonna get that soft touch material with the white contrast stitching. And then in the center of the door panel, we have that ceramic white color. Really makes this a creamsicle and makes the color pop so nicely on the door panel. If you notice that silver trim, you'll see a little bit of a sort of track in it. That track is actually for ambient lighting, 64 different colors, so get your box of Crayola crayons out. The one zonk is the door pocket is very small, so maybe 2 hot pockets and that's it. If you go 3, you're gonna bust hot pepperoni all over the place from your hot pocket. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, we got the Bose sound system, more of that nice leather style material with the white contrast stitching. And then as we slide across, what do we got? We got an 8-inch infotainment system. Now, it is a touchscreen, which is great. You got the nice swipe features. You could go into your climate control. Very, very easy to navigate. Remember I told you about Crayola crayon? Look at that. All the colors in the rainbow. Roy G. Biv. You could do Jolly Rancher watermelon color in here and everything else. So really, really has a great setup. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. The other two manufacturers, the Ford Mustang and the Dodge Challenger, do not have wireless. This is wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and the best resolution of a backup camera with the trajectory compared to the other two. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, why do they have it tilted? That's to help cut down on the amount of glare. And it does a pretty good job. It's easy to get to. You got all your AC controls, ventilated seats and heated seats. So thank you, Chevy, for allowing us to have that on here. One of the smartest designs where you actually take the trim ring and you could adjust the temperature. I would love to say that Chevy came up with this first, but it was actually Audi on the small TT that had all the controls for the temperature gauges and everything with the AC in those trim rings and everything. This guy right here, this is going to control that 10-speed fast shifting automatic, same transmission basically that's in the Ford Mustang GT. If you go Dodge Challenger, you're going to have a ZF Torque Flight 8-speed automatic. If you'll notice, it's got racing stripes on it with the Camaro name, nice perforated leather with the stitching. My one zonk is the plastic here. I wish they would have done something kind of sportier than just a flat black plastic, but I do like the knee pads that they give you for your passenger and the driver in here. We got our mode selector switch, which I'll show you more of that when you come to the business end. This is another zonk where they put the 12 volt. If you're running a radar detector in here, which I highly recommend because of this car with 455 horsepower, the wire is going to be right in the way, and that just kind of bugs me. 2 cup holders, Key fob would have been great to put the SS badge here, but the great news is you got remote start. You could pop the trunk. You could even play and blast a red horn. Hard as Plymouth Rock. Like when the Pilgrims landed, this is what they landed on. Very, very hard. But the good news is you open it up, you do have 2 USBs and maybe 2 Twinkies if you put them in there diagonally. If you don't, you're gonna bust cream all over yourself. Seats, love the soft material, the stitch work, the SS badge is looking good, especially with the ceramic white. Nice bolstering, nothing too crazy. Full electric assist for the passenger and the driver. The great news is that even though it feels like you're sitting in a bathtub a little bit and there's a lot of blind spots, you do got plenty of headroom in here. I'm 6 feet tall, I got plenty of headroom, and then to help combat the blind spots, we do have that digital rearview mirror. You can see we got a nice C7 Corvette over there. That's a Dodge Challenger Hellcat with a 6-speed Tremec manual transmission. But that gives you that great ability. Then watch this, no hands. I want to show you the back seat. I'm not getting in it because it's really, really tight. A stuffed animal, Teddy Ruxpin, wouldn't want to even sit in these back seats. So compared to the Mustang, compared to the Challenger, it's got the smallest back seats, but they did do the ceramic color, which is great. And then you do have a wireless charging pad placed back here for you or your passengers. But you know what? Why don't you come over here? This is the more important side. I want to show you behind the flat bottom steering wheel in our Camaro SS. All right, guys, come on into my creamsicle. Nice and cool in here. I do love the way it's got the Camaro name right on the sill to greet you, and it lights up with that ambient lighting. You don't have, what's a bummer is you don't have aluminum pedals. I am gonna zonk that, especially with the way that this one is spec'd out, but you do have your seat controls and you have 2 memory seat settings, which are wonderful. Like I said, plenty of headroom. You could get a helmet on for your track day or autocross event. Steering wheel, flat bottom. It's got the SS badge looking great. Doesn't say Chevy, it says Camaro. You're in that American heartbeat, the Camaro. There are paddles on the back of the steering wheel, and they are plastic to go up and down the 10-speed automatic. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then gauges, I love the layout. You get an analog tach, analog speedometer, and then you got those digital performance gauges across the top. You could go into your different modes very, very easily. You know where we're gonna be keeping it. We're keeping it in track setup. Nice to have that readout, and you got a head-up display in here. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the trunk and see what the heck we could stuff in this Camaro SS. Right, guys, I know you've been saying, well, Joe, it seems like all you're doing is talking positive about this Camaro. I guess it's the one definitely to get. Well, here is the one spot that compared to the Mustang GT and definitely compared to the Dodge Challenger, the Camaro comes in dead last. What you're gonna do is you're gonna feel for the rubber button, hit the button, lift it up. That's the problem. The smallest trunk space out of all the current muscle cars. How much space are we looking at, Joe? I know that's what you're asking me. 9.1 cubic feet of space. The good news is that the rear seat does fold down. The bad news is that this opening is very, very small. Now, if you're wondering why did they do this? Why didn't they just make the opening larger? It's all about structural rigidity, and that's one of the reasons why the Camaro is such a corner carver on your favorite twisty road, on your favorite racetrack. The bad downside of that is you might be able to get 4 loaves of bread, particularly Wonder Bread, past this opening and into the trunk. But you know what? If you're ready, I'm ready. Get your peanut butter, get your jelly. We're going on throttle in a nice PB sandwich. All right, guys, we're leaving Dimmitt Chevrolet. We're in this rapid, vivid orange Chevrolet Camaro SS. I tell you, it really reminds me of driving a front engine Corvette. The way that you're positioned in here, yes, it's very low. You get used to it, trust me. There once was upon a time where I would always zonk driving one of these really briefly in a review, but after owning mine, you get used to it, especially, like I said, that digital rear view mirror is something that you want to make sure that you get in yours because it makes it that much easier to navigate through the back of the vehicle. Everything is well laid out in here. I think when it comes to quality of materials, it's a mixed bag where the Mustang has some of the things that are a little bit softer to touch, like the dash, whereas this, the seats, and I really love the door panels, especially with the ambient lighting. And then of course the technology side. Technology, you're getting a lot more tech in the Camaro compared to the Mustang, and the Dodge Challenger. Now, looking out across the hood, we got the head-up display. We do have it in sport mode, of course, and we're gonna go on throttle. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle. Golly! The way this 10-speed just rockets off is unbelievable. Drops down and you are off and running at the races. Nice downshifts. The steering wheel is a great size. And then of course you're gonna have some really good feedback from the front of the vehicle because of the sport tuned suspension with the SS. But on throttle, nice sound. It's got that classic push rod V8 sound. Very, very different from the Mustang GT. Now the Mustang GT, you can rev out to 7,500 RPM, whereas with this car, 6,500 RPM is where it's at. That gives the Mustang some advantage in the rev range, but I'm telling you, this thing makes so much torque down low and it just pulls all the way to redline nice and smoothly. Those Brembo brakes slow you down with confidence. And then that exhaust note is to die for. Muscle car sound with the best handling. These Camaros out-handle the Mustangs and the Challengers, hands down, even with an SS. You step it up to SS1LE, it's even more so. Something to think about. It's not just about horsepower, it's not just about straight line, it's also about the twisty bits as well. All right, guys, I want to take this out onto the highway, see how it handles, how that daily driving commute is going to be. I'm going to actually shift with the paddles here. Now, what's interesting is the upshift, there's a little bit of a delay when you go to shift, but just something to be aware of. Obviously, getting up to highway speed, you're going to have no problem, but here we go. On throttle. Nice clap from that exhaust. I'm telling you, it gets the power down so effectively, it's ridiculous. And then once you get up to highway speed, you can upshift. You got a small little gear indicator in the lower right-hand corner, and then just cruise. And then obviously, you just put the shifter back over, push it back to the right, and then you're in regular drive mode again. But when you're driving down the road in this thing, even with the 20-inch wheels, it rides actually really nicely. If you get the magnetic suspension, that's even more so. So something to think about when you're optioning your car is you may want to go with that magnetic ride suspension because it tightens it when you need it, and then it keeps it a little bit more softer when you are going down the highway. But really, really smooth. Side mirrors work great. I do like the way they do the side mirrors for visibility purposes. But then just cruising, I'm telling you, this thing really does it all, especially being able to see the bulge with the heat extractor. You just know that you're not in a regular type of car. And that's what's really fun about these types of cars, is that it has that little something extra that lets people know that you are a car enthusiast. You enjoy the act of driving. I guess for me, the only way it would be better, I would put the 6-speed manual in this vehicle. All right, guys, like I said, with those Brembo brakes, it's nice that you could change the color. They feel good. You're gonna get the best feedback out of the bunch with these Camaros when it comes to steering wheel input and what the front of the vehicle is doing. And then, like we pointed out, you got the limited slip diff to help keep the power to the ground, which is wonderful. Guys, one more time, on throttle, here we go. Yeah! Nice sound, nice sensation, and that's what these cars are all about, is bringing that old school feel with the new technology. It sits on the same chassis as the Cadillac ATS used to be on, so it's a nice, small, lighter chassis, nimble, and you got that big V8 power. Drive it every day, save it for the weekends, take it to a track day. This Camaro SS is very, very versatile. Even take it to a car show and you're probably gonna win a trophy with this vivid, bright orange color. I mean, it really is a very fitting color as you're going down the road. But we're gonna get back to Dimmitt Chevrolet and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been one kind of muscle car manic day here at Dimmitt Chevrolet. I definitely gotta thank Raheel and the whole team, not only getting us a Chevrolet Camaro, but this 2022 SS in the vivid orange. Let me know what you think. Which way are you gonna go? Are you gonna go Camaro? Or are you gonna go Mustang GT, have that 10 less horsepower? Or are you gonna go with the heavier Dodge Challenger? Put it in the comment section. I'm dying to know which way you would spend your money. But until then, if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click that freaking link in the description. Get yourself some Raiti Rides merch. Got to give it up to the freaking best. She is the best videographer in all of YouTube and the whole wide universe. Show Lori some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for being the rock. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.